mean bad? Let me just stop you there a minute. You are a waste of fucking space. You had this deal laid on a plate for you. A mousy little lady purchaser, company with loads of money, a great opening sales pitch by yours truly. How the hell could it have gone bad? Oh, you're kidding. A fucking panel. Well, how many? 6. How many people do they need to make a business decision? Yeah, alright, I get it, 6. Hardly fucking hard. So when are they getting back to you then? Next week? Yeah, to be fair, mate, it does sound like you tried your best. So, how was she then? Sarah? Was she fit? She looked like it on her profile. I knew it. I can tell she had big tits. Mate, stop. I'm a trainer. I won't be able to get off my seat if you keep on. Look, just keep her warm, yeah? And if we're lucky, she'll get the go-ahead and we can just upsell. Yeah, alright mate. I'll be about another hour or so, and then I'll see you in the office, alright? Alright mate. Ta-da. Fucking hell. Wish I'd gone myself instead of sending that useless piece of shit. Here mate, take a look at that.
Yes, she's very pretty.
Pretty? Pretty? Come on mate, have another look. Look at the state of her. She's apparently got tits the size of bowling balls. Bet she's got the pins to match.
Yes, I'm sure she does.
Got that right, mate. Meanwhile, I'm stuck here on this train with ugly fuckers like you, whilst my business partner is sweet-talking Miss fucking Universe here. No offence.
No, thank you.
My name's Danny, by the way.
Graham.
How'd you make your pounds then?
I'm retired.
Oh, fair play. Look, I know I said you was ugly and all that, and I don't take that back, but... you can't be more than about 60, I mean. You're in the army or something, you've got a bit of that about you.
Police, for about 30 years.
Good on you, mate. Got to respect a man who dedicates his life to public office. Me, I couldn't stick at a job, you see. So me and my mate decided to set up a business. I just figured I couldn't fucking work for some other bastard, do you know what I mean?
Excuse me, do you mind not swearing so much? I don't want my daughter hearing those kind of words, or thinking that the way you talk about women is alright for men for that matter.
Alright, darling. For you, it'd be my pleasure. I'm going to look fun then. Or, she's not getting it.
I think she just doesn't like the swearing.
Alright, well, the little girl will hear these words often enough anyway. Anyway, Graham, as I was saying, before Prude Leaf interrupted, my mate Dave and I set up a business setting up IT software about 5 years ago, and the rest, as they say, is history. I've got my swanky little office, I've got my Merc, I am living the flipping dream. But the train's a necessary evil in your business.
I suppose so. At least you can work.
Got that right? I mean, these deals aren't going to close themselves. It takes preparation, coaxing. You can't seal the deal with a lady without getting your fingers wet.
Oh, do you mind?
Oh, wind your neck in, sweetheart. Your girl's probably tried it herself.
She's 14.
It was when I started. It's how I'm the God's gift to women you've seen before you. Look, she's a sweet little thing now, but I'm telling you, it's not too long before she's going out in a skirt, short enough to show her arse.
She's 14. Don't be so inappropriate.
Much as I don't care to side with someone so abhorrent a dear, I'm inclined to agree with this Amy. Whether your daughter is sweet and innocent or not now, she'll no doubt turn into a whore.
She's 14. She's a child. Do you hear what you're saying?
My dear, you can try all you want to do right by her and show her the way to be a good person. But once you let her out on her own, well, nature takes full effect. Before you know it, there'll be drugs, rap music, fornication. It's a matter when, not if. Or with Google, TikTok and peer pressure. You won't even recognise your daughter anymore.
Really, it takes more than the internet and a few friends to turn somebody around like that.
You were a police officer, you said. Surely you of all people know what youth can get up to. You can just tell. I mean, take this young man. You don't tell me that you wouldn't have stopped and searched him in the streets. Well, look at his clothes, they don't even fit him. He probably couldn't have afforded them. They're probably paid for by drugs or gangs that terrorise their local community. He just sat there, listening to his god-awful music, oblivious to the world around him.
You can't group people together like that. You don't know anything about it. It's like saying all old people are rude and racist and smell either of piss or potpourri. It's just...
To be fair, mate, most old people do. I'll give you about 10 years before you smell like piss yourself. I can already smell it around.
There you go. Young people have no respect. This man is clearly still a juvenile, having had to listen to his dreadful telephone call. Tell me then, how many years of your illustrious police career were you on the streets?
About 13.
And how many people did you arrest for drugs, knife crimes and other violent offences?
Too many to count.
And how many of them looked like this young man?
Many.
How many of them looked like this lady?
Barely any.
And how many of them looked like me?
A few.
Rubbish. I'd be surprised if there was one.
Harold Shipman. He was about 50 odd and killed fucking hundreds.
An exception. But the reason he wasn't apprehended until too late was because he didn't look like the norm. And he was a medical professional. A ridiculous example. How many of them looked like this young man?
I've told you, many.
Exactly. Young people should be feared. Men should be feared. Not all, I grant you. I don't know if you have a son, but if you do, I hope for your sake that he is an exception, or that your daughter has better taste in men. My Trevor was a saint, rest his soul. But if this young man walked behind me at night, with or without his friends, I would call a taxi. Don't you tell me any different. You would do the same.
I guess.
Excuse me. Your daughter, is she good in school? Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Helen, I'm Helen, this is Sam. Sam, I think the gentleman wants to know what you like at school, though.
English and science, I guess.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Teacher? Or a doctor, I don't know.
Both noble professions. Who do you like to hang out with?
George.
A boy. And what do you and George like to get up to together?
PlayStation.
What kind of games?
Fortnite.
I know it well. My daughter plays it. It's a game where animated characters try to shoot each other until there's only one left.
Yeah.
Does playing Fortnite make you want to shoot a gun in real life, Sam?
No, it's just a game.
And what does your mum think of Fortnite?
Rather they went outside a bit more, but she's never been one for climbing trees or hanging out with girls, and her and George get on really well as friends. It's never inappropriate with her. We've already talked about consent and why it's important.
Well, neither Sam nor George sound the type to be out on the streets dealing drugs, do they?
My name is Mary, and I think I've made my views quite clear, thank you. And you've made yours, which again surprises me given your professional experience. I must say I was hoping for your support. Really, you've disappointed me.
Oh, I wouldn't take it to heart, Gray. I disappoint women all the time. I tend to set their expectations low now, you see. Ellen, you look like you could go back. Are you married?
No, not anymore. But I'd have never been interested in a pig like you anyway.
A pig, am I? Oh, I was an ape just now. Whole fucking animal farm.
Apes don't live in farms, you idiots. My ex-husband was like you. Thought he was God's gift. Treated women like shit.
What's happened to your husband?
It's none of your business. Mine or my daughter's life is really none of any of your business. We just like to get on with our journey in peace, please. please?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry.
I'm sorry. It's just these two have wound me up. I mean, you seem like a decent person, to be honest. Probably. But at the moment, the only person I actually like in this carriage, apart from my daughter, is that young man, because he hasn't spoken up and stuck his nose in where he's not wanted, against me or for me. So, you know, just like to play our game in peace.
Tickets, please.
Do the rest, right?
Tickets, please.
You're right in what you said. Your life is your own, and none of us have any right to pry into it or try and force our opinions onto you. Thanks for speaking up.
It's all right. We just like a peaceful journey. Sam, can you have tickets on that, look?
So, Sam, where is it that you're going?
Sorry, I thought we
It's
did.
okay, Mum. I like him. We're going to the theatre. We're going to see The Woman in Black.
Oh, that's nice. Do you like the theatre then?
Yeah. Mum takes us often. It's like a trip out together. I mean, Dad with me.
Yeah, we go as often as we can.
Well, it's great that you can enjoy that together. I could never get my daughter to be interested in the sorts of things that interested me. Too much time spent doing overtime away from home when I was on the force, I guess. Not enough time to find stuff in common. She lives away from home now, of course, married. She's got her own children.
Right, so how many grandchildren do you have?
2. One's 3, the other's 6 months. I've got pictures. Do you mind? There, the youngest, Charlie, he's great. He's got such a cheeky grin on him. My wife used to say that he looked like me, but he doesn't really, of course. It's just kids that age always look like old men, and that's just how it happened, I suppose.
I don't know why people feel that showing pictures of their relatives is interesting to others.
For God's sake. I don't know why you feel the need to share your opinion again.
I'm very entitled to my opinion, Graham. Sometimes in today's society it's the only thing one has.
And you seem to offer it very freely.
I have the benefit of experience. I know the world I live in. You seem to be naive to it, which again surprises me given your experience.
Fine. But can't you find something to give an opinion on that's at least a little bit positive?
There's very little positive in the world today, Graham. My Trevor's victim to this fact.
What happened to your husband?
Really, people talking about their relatives is almost as tiresome as showing pictures of them.
Oh, fine, whatever.
But since you asked, my husband was an honest man. As I said earlier, he was a saint. He worked for a homeless charity most of his life, worked down to the shelter and fed those poor helpless dears every day. One day he came home and said that he'd met a young man in his teens. And Trevor said he'd been thrown out of his home for drugs, mind you, and something about abusive parents. But that last part I didn't believe. He had no marks on him, other than dirt, and he said he'd been sleeping on a bench for several months. Trevor thought it would be a good idea if he came and lived with us for a few months. Naturally, we argued about this. Well, I wasn't going to give my home over to someone I didn't know, particularly someone with that background, and not a few months. I said I'll give him a week until he finds something more suitable. I didn't trust the boy from the start. Dishevelled, there had an odd look about him. We discussed him nightly. I didn't see why it should be our burden to bear. Surely the state could assist him. One night, he came home, drank from alcohol he'd taken from our cabinet, and
Fucking hell.
yes, that man caused the death of my husband. You'll appreciate now why I feel it's fair to assume that you are to blame for the issues in today's society. I have no children. Trevor was my only family. My judgment of others is what's helping me to survive. And as women, you'd be advised to do the same.
Look, I'm sorry to hear what happened to your husband. Truly I am. But surely you can't condemn a whole group of the population because of the actions of one desperate young man. You included this boy with what you said earlier, but you know nothing about him. You've judged him solely on what he's wearing.
It's a bit like saying that all Muslims are terrorists. Well, you're not sitting in that camp too, are you?
Not being funny enough, but a lot of terrorists are Muslims.
Some Muslims are terrorists. Yeah, some. Some terrorists have been Muslims. But the problem is that the media don't like to label any non-Asians who commit acts of mass murder as terrorists. Oh, murderers maybe, but not terrorists. Media likes to go after, you know, minority or vulnerable groups if they can, when it comes to the blame for atrocities. Well, you only have to look at the way they report on women that have been the victims of domestic violence or rape, don't you?
What do you mean?
Or did you see that recent report, that rapist wife murderer? The media said that he was a amateur tennis player and his wife was a workaholic. Who gives a shit that he plays tennis? Why focus on her when she's probably having to work extra hours to pay the bills, while her layabout unemployed husband plays tennis all the time?
Oh, I see it.
I'm not being funny, guys, but this shit's all a bit too heavy for me. Can we just lighten the mood a bit?
What did you have in mind?
I don't bloody know. Sam, do you know any jokes?
Jokes?
Yes, sweetheart. What's your best joke?
What do you call a magician's dog?
I don't know.
A labracadabra dog?
Well, that was enlightening.
Oh, seriously, what is your problem?
Nothing is my problem, dear. And frankly, I'm tired, too, of this conversation. I have this scarf to finish for a neighbour. Right now, I think I find it more interesting than you people.
I just have a boyfriend by that might cheer you up.
What's your best joke, Danny?
What do you think? Oh, I know. What do you call an expert fisherman?
No.
You don't know one, do you? Hey, Brad, I was just wondering, what are you doing with yourself now that you're off the force?
Oh, just, you know, the usual stuff, gardening, walks, babysitting the grandkids.
Oh, yeah? I'll tell you what, retirement sounds boring as fuck, mate. I'm just surprised you're not out in the town with Mrs. Graham and living it large every night.
Even a senior police pension wouldn't stretch to that level of exuberance, and besides, I don't drink.
Very sensible, that man. Saves you the messy hangover in the morning, pal. I, however, do drink, and I have not seen the trolley come through yet, so I might just go and inquire as to whether it's a standing or a moving one. Anyone want anything?
Tea would be good. Let me give you some money.
No, tea's on me, Cliff. You want sugar or are you sweet enough?
No, thanks.
Gills?
Oh, we're fine, thanks.
Couple of chocolates and extra something for the kid. Got it.
Helen, it must have been tough bringing up Sam on your own.
How do you know I'm on my own? I know I mentioned an ex-husband.
Well, I didn't mean to assume. I just thought you'd be going to the theatre with somebody else.
It's all right. No, it is just the two of us. It was tough at first, but that's all right now. We get on, don't we, Sam?
This is your guard speaking, ladies and gentlemen. Please be advised we are approaching our next stop. There, unusually, the doors on the right-hand side of the carriage will be opening. Thank you for travelling with High Speed East. We wish you a safe onward journey.
My ex-husband, he was controlling, abusive. I mean, I don't agree with everything Mary was saying earlier. I certainly don't think that all men are abusers, but he was that way. Womanising, gaslighting. Everything was my fault. Questioned every decision I made about Sam. Never supported us. Lazy. Oh, I shouldn't talk bad about him in front of Sam, but we are better off now, it's just the two of us.
Well, you've got a great kid, so you've obviously done an amazing job with her.
Thank you, that means more than you can know, Graham.
Do you still hear from him? Is he still involved in Sam's life?
No, he's out of our lives now. What was that?
I don't know. Keep Sam calm. Stay together. I'll go and find out. There, you stay here too. You two protect the others. I'll be right back.
No, man, don't. We need to get off the train.
We can't. We've left the station. The doors will be locked.
We can smash the window. The train will stop. We can get off there.
He's right. Something's not right. That sounded like gunfire.
We can't be sure of that.
What else is it going to be? It's not like an engine or something. These electric trains, they don't make noise. At least, well, not like that. There's people screaming. We need to get off.
What about Danny? He went that way, didn't he?
He won't be long. He'll be back in a second, love. He's bringing us hot chocolates, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Hot chocolate. Don't worry. We need to get off this fucking train. Don't be a martyr.
I'm ex-police. I can help.
What are you going to fight them off with your bare fucking hands? Leave it. Look, I can just smash the window. The train's stop. We can get off. It'll be easy.
We need to make... Is that Danny?
Hide this!
Danny!
There's men! They got guns for cover!
What?
Come on!
They're coming back. Quick, under the seat. Go. Go.
Dave! How'd it go? Dave? Dave, you there, mate? It's a fucking phone. Hey, Brian, you got any signal? My phone is fucked. Hang on. Don't I know you? I mean, haven't I seen you somewhere before?
Danny? Yes, we've met, but I can't quite place you. My phone? No signal, but the trains, the tunnels, they mess up your signal, don't they? Can you make a Wi-Fi call?
No, but Wi-Fi's never good enough, is it? Everyone's using it, ain't they? I can't even connect on my laptop.
Mum,
Oh,
where are we? It's good to see you all, but I'm not sure. I don't know where we...
Well, look out of the window. It should help orientate us. We must be nearly there by now.
I don't recognise the view at all. I'll see if I can find a guard. Oh, it's locked. It won't open. We're locked in. Hello, guard. Anyone there?
Sammy, you're alright.
How do you know I call her Sammy? Well, we never even spoke. I mean, I never really called her that in front of any of you. I just called her Sam.
She told me we were in danger. Some kind of danger. I just can't remember what exactly.
What sort of danger?
I don't know. I just know something terrible. I can't remember how I got here, just that I've been here before. I can't think. Can any of you?
Where are we? I don't recognise the view. Are we nearly there? Where are we going again?
Look, there's probably a perfectly rational explanation. I'm sure that... Well, no. I'm sure the guard will be through soon and we can just ask him.
Spot on gravy, old treacle, that's a good idea. We're probably just disorientated. I've always been one for naps on trains, the movement and the... You know, always one to send me straight off. We've probably just been sleeping.
Well, all of us. We can't all have been asleep.
Well, no, but you and Sam, you've been busy playing, and old Mary's been doing her knitting. This kid's been on his phone. I've been working, and great, no offence to her, but you look like a man who likes his food, so maybe we just haven't been paying attention. I mean, this is a long train after all, and it's only natural there'll be bits that we don't recognise. I mean, all British countryside looks the same, doesn't it?
No, Danny. We take this trip to the theatre almost every week. We take the same train, we look out of the window and talk about it. We even play our spy. I'd recognise it and I don't. Mary's right. It sort of looks familiar, but it's not.
Yes, and how do we know each other? Well, I know all of your names, apart from this young man here, but I can't place how I know you. Well, other than...
Other than what?
Other than on this train. What is your name, young man?
His name's Joe.
Well, Joe, you could have worn clothes that fit you. That's all I'll say. Doesn't give a good impression.
Tickets, please. Tickets, please.
This doesn't make any sense.
No, my ticket, it's blank. I always keep my tickets in the same place, in my wallet, and... Wait, my rail card. Photo, it's blurred. Mary, what about yours?
Mine's the same.
Well, mine's downloaded on my phone. I'm sure it's blank as well.
Excuse me, guard.
Yes, madam.
Where are we?
I wouldn't worry about that, madam. You'll be at your destination soon enough.
Well, yes, but where are we now?
Well, madam, we're somewhere between where you started and your destination, of course.
How many stops until
Don't
we
worry,
get
madam.
there?
Just relax and enjoy your journey.
How many stops?
Just one for each of you, madam.
Oh, just one for each of us, that's
Yes,
good.
madam.
Well, how long will that take?
You'll soon be there, madam. There'll be an announcement, I'm sure, for each of you.
For each of us.
I don't follow, madam.
You said there'd be an announcement for each of us, but how can there be if we don't know where we're getting off until we get there?
Don't worry, madam. You'll see when it's time to get off. You'll know when it's time to get off. I'll be back through later on.
Wait, something happened recently. I felt it earlier.
What happened, sir?
I don't know, something did.
Quite likely, sir. It's rare that I get to speak to people on here without something having happened to get them on. Lives are funny like that, aren't they? Don't worry, sir, madam, all of you. I'll be back through later on just to check on you. Cheerio.
Fuck, we're stuck. What the hell is going on?
Joe.
Oh! You all right, Freya? Freya?
Yes, I think this sandwich I was eating, it must have been rotten or something. Do any of you feel hungry?
Not anymore.
I don't think I was either. It just felt the right thing to do, just eat the food. But there's something I don't feel the need to, and it's not because I'm full.
Lives are funny like that. What the guard said. I was wondering what he meant.
Joe, you said earlier you thought something awful had happened. I have a feeling it did, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It's just that we're stuck here in this carriage. We don't recognise what's outside. None of us wants to eat. And it's clear that Graham can't. Graham, do you have any of that food left?
I think so. I think I've got some crisps. Well, other than the sandwich I just chucked up, of course.
When did you make the sandwich?
Don't know. This morning, I guess. Earlier.
So it should be fresh, right? It should be edible.
Yes, I guess.
Hand me those crisps. They're in date. But anyway, crisps don't go off in the same way, not in clothes packs. There's no moisture in them. Yeah. If we won't take one. Right. All of you, eat your crisp. Oh, there you go. We can't all have the same reaction. We don't need to eat.
But why would... Fucked if I know.
How the hell did we...
I remember.
What do you remember, Danny?
We were killed.
What? What?
I was killed anyway. If you lot are here with me, then you must have been too.
But we can't. We've been talking to each other.
Shit, he's right. Daddy, you were killed as you came through that door. Graham, you fell there. Helen, you tried to stop her from killing Sam, but she was still shot, and I managed to pull her from underneath you. Mary, you were so frozen in fear, you didn't get up, and he got you too. Sam and I managed to escape a bit, but
You tried to save me, Joe, but you shot us before we could get out.
yeah, that's right. We must not be able to leave here because this is where we died. We're in purgatory.
Is that what the guard meant when he said we'd all know our stop?
Yeah, it must be. I don't know how we'll know or when, but this must be a kind of post-reality or something.
So you think we could be stuck here until we work it out?
I don't know, maybe.
How do we do that?
Maybe if we apologise.
What do you mean?
Maybe if we say we're sorry for whatever we've done, then we'll just...
Oh, confess our sins, you mean, sort of thing, Sammy?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
No, I think she could be right. Wait, the guard said he backed through, didn't he? Why don't we just ask him?
It wasn't massively helpful last time.
But he was though, wasn't he? I mean, lives are funny, we'll see when it's time. And something else he said, about how people are only on here after something's happened to them. He's pointed us right. I think whatever happened just now is pointing us to realise, to remember.
But my Sammy's innocent. I mean, she's only 14. She can't have done anything she needs to confess. Why hasn't her stop come already?
I don't know how it works, do I? What sort of situation you are?
Hold on. Something's been just coming back to me. Mary, you said before the shoot, before it happened, that the man that was living with you caused your husband's death. we just assumed that he killed him, but it's a good place to start, right? I mean, what happened that night? Did you get revenge on him or anything like that?
I don't know why you're focusing on me right away. Well, I'm sure with all your loud-mouthed chauvinism, you're not exactly lily white either. Maybe we should explore further as to why Helen's husband isn't around, or why Graham doesn't drink, or any number of things this young man might have done in his short lifetime.
Oh, for fuck's sake, we can't just sit here for eternity. Sam's right, we've got to talk. Let me think of the 10 Commandments and we can brainstorm from there. Oh, I know. Any of you got big Billy Idol fans? He was a false idol, wasn't he? Name was William Broad.
I really don't think that's what it means.
Alright. Any of your neighbours keep cows? Haven't felt like coveting any of them? Mary? I seem to remember you talking a load of bull earlier.
Shut up. All right, you want to talk? Let's talk. Graham, why don't you drink?
I don't know if I can really...
Oh, come on. Well, after this girl here, you should be the most innocent. After all, you've been protecting the vulnerable throughout your lifetime. Why don't you drink? The only people I know who don't drink are athletes and alcoholics. You're too tubby to be an athlete, and not red-faced enough to be an alcoholic. There must be a reason.
All right. I guess I should go first. I was never a big drinker anyway. I liked a beer every now and then, but it was when I'd had a few that I really didn't like who I was. So I just ended up cutting it out altogether.
So what did you do when you were drunk then, Graham?
Nothing big. I would, though, sometimes get, well, a little over-affectionate. Nothing over the top, but worse when I wasn't with Sandra. And then, when I got back, I was always so overcome with guilt that I couldn't even face looking at Sandra the morning afterwards.
Ah, come on, mate, as long as it's innocent and she trusts you.
Yes, well, I never committed adultery or anything like that if we're ticking off the commandments. But I would also get a bit, well, klepto.
What, you mean like you'd steal stuff?
Yes, me and Sandra, we'd be out with friends, and she'd open her handbag at the end of it, and there'd be 2 or 3 different glasses in there. Sometimes spectacles, sometimes the sort you drink out of. And then, one night, I came home, with like 3 mobile phones in my pocket. I filed a missing item report at work saying they'd been handed in. And then there was the time that I ended up with somebody else's watch on.
Fucking hell, Gray. You're a proper little Fagin.
I know, it's embarrassing. I'd never steal anything from anyone as a sober person, so I just stopped drinking, and eventually you don't miss it.
Did you give the other stuff back? You know, the watch and the glasses?
Well, if I couldn't missing-item them at work, I'd keep them in the house. I had a box to put stuff in. Donated it to Oxfam in the end, and I like to think that some of it might have found its way back to the people who owned it. But, oh, you know, I'm just so ashamed of what I did.
Who'd have thought it had? I'm just glad I didn't let you near my stuff. This is a very expensive laptop, I'll have you know.
You knew what you did was wrong and you tried to make amends for it.
I recognise this area. I got married to Sandra about a mile from here. We had to run off to get married because our parents, that they didn't approve, and...
Graham, you okay?
Okay. Yeah, oh, Sandra, she was so beautiful on that day. She just glowed. We knew we were going to get married. We'd arranged it with the priest. He'd agreed to hide her dress in his back study area. I bought her a suit on the way. It was too big, really. I was too excited to try it on.
Sounds like a perfect day.
Oh, it was. We went to the beach for our honeymoon. We rented a cabin, walked for hours afterwards in our wedding clothes, but bare feet on the sand. Look. Over there. There's the cabin. Oh, I think I'm getting closer to my stop now. I should pack up. Now, it looks bright and sunny out. I don't think I'll need the coat. Right. So, dance to this under the moonlight.
Never seen you looking so lovely as you did tonight. I've never seen you shine so.
It was nice meeting you all. Sorry how it all turned out. Sandra, she died of cancer a couple of months ago. I need to see her now on the beach. Maybe see you later as well.
Holy shit.
Probably not a good time to using that sort of phrasing, Danny.
No, sorry, but God almighty.
Danny!
Sorry, bugger. That should be alright, shouldn't it? I'm not quite sure where the Bible stood on it. Anyway, who fancies going next then?
I will. You wanted to know what happened the night my husband died. I'll tell you. I lied about the boy stealing alcohol. He idolised my husband, said he'd saved his life, and probably had for what little it was worth. Trevor would always get sick in the winter. Well, we had flu jabs every year. He's had all the COVID ones. He'd always pick something up. Anyway, he'd insist on sleeping in the spare room when he was ill. Didn't want me to get ill as well, he said. Or when the boy was in the other room, I'd just lie there thinking about him, about the fact that he was on drugs probably, and was be downstairs robbing us blind like bloody Jean Valjean, running off into the night to sell everything. Oh, I'd just lie there for hours. I'd go over to the spare room to speak to Trevor, snoring, decide against it. And I'd go back to bed until I eventually zoned out. One night I couldn't handle it any longer. I went downstairs, walked through the lines into the kitchen, and got myself a drink. I got myself so worked up, I'd taken a knife out of the drawer without even thinking about it. Oh, my hand shook as I looked at it, and I put it back down. And then I heard something. I thought, oh, this is it. In my own home, by somebody who's been invited in. And I pick up the knife, and I walk slowly through the light room. I haven't switched the light on because I know every square inch of that carpet. We've lived in the house for 30 years. And then suddenly somebody grabs me, and I thrust the knife forward, and I hear a thud and a groan. And
What did you see when you turned the light on now?
Trevor had heard me get up, and he'd come to get me back to bed. Well, I didn't mean to kill him, I was just so afraid. I look see the boy asleep in the armchair. And I go into the kitchen and I get a cloth and I wipe the handle of the knife and I hold it by the cloth and I go back in and I put the knife into the boy's hand and I went back to sleep. I've never slept so soundly. I wake up in the morning and he's freaking out. The boy, not Trevor, he's crying over Trevor's body. Said he shouldn't have taken it, drugs or something. I phoned the police and he confesses straight away. Said he can't remember killing him, but he must have.
What? You let him take the blame? After everything you said about the youths of today and men being the aggressors and you murdering your own husband, oh, by accident, I grant you. But then you framed a vulnerable, innocent boy.
You're a disgrace.
I'm no disgrace, young man. My Trevor was sacrificed to stop him doing it to others in the future. Why would he confess if he wasn't capable of it? Trevor would have considered it the ultimate charity.
Do you not even regret what you did?
Oh, I regret the day Trevor brought a stranger into our home. I regret not waking Trevor up that night and saying, "Sod it, Trevor. I don't give a shit if I get sick or not. Just hold me and tell me everything is going to be okay." I regret not turning on the light and seeing who it was, but do I regret removing a bane on society from the equation? No, I do not. He'd taken drugs. I knew he was lying all along and oh.
What's wrong?
Oh, is it just getting a bit warm in here? Just a bit warm. Is there a window we can open?
Windows are jammed shut. We can't leave until it's time.
I think it might be time for me, dear. Oh, I don't think I should be losing this. Perhaps you'd like to finish this one. Oh. Oh, I used to hate it when Trevor played this. Over and over again. He'd always sing the wrong words. I'd give anything to hear him sing it now.
Where are we?
I'm home. Eternity without Trevor. Waiting for him to come home.
Well, I'm in shock from what I just heard.
Me too. Can't believe she doesn't like that song. It's an absolute classic. I'm sorry, it's just how I deal with this sort of thing.
So, who's next?
Do you know what? I can't think of anything. It's a bit like trying to go for a week, but you're not able to. Do you think this is what ghosts are like? Like, just waiting for their reason to move over?
We are ghosts, Danny. If we're not ghosts, then what are we? Do you think we're haunting someone on the train?
I doubt the train will be running, Sammy. After what happened.
Well, that's on the assumption that no time's gone by.
Has it?
I don't know. I don't know how it works either.
Morning all. Or is it afternoon? I'm not sure. The company would like to give you a complimentary gift to thank you for travelling with us today. Hopefully these will give you some inspiration on where you need to go. There's no refreshment cart, I'm afraid. It got off when the train split. But you'll find refreshments at your destinations, I'm sure. Anyhow, enjoy the rest of your journey.
Oh, shit.
What?
Oh, I've completely forgotten about this. Well, it's bad enough for me to go wherever Mary did.
Tell us.
The loudmouth chauvinism, it's all an act. The sales is a shark tank, you see. You either join in or we'd get left out, and my mum, she had no money. I needed to support her and support my sister. I needed to give them a better life, and sometimes you've got to go with the flow.
Danny, what did you do?
It was about 10 years ago. I was in my early 20s. It was a works Christmas do. It was a standard sort of thing, really. I mean, there was set meals on long tables, there was wine on the tables, dance floor, bar. They'd sat us all in teams, but we'd mingle about between courses, you know the sort of thing. The night went pretty standard. There was speeches about a good year and end-of-year awards about people exceeding targets. As the evening went on, the younger team members took advantage of the free bar and got smashed. One in particular, an admin from finance, was particularly bad. She'd be dancing on her own, staggering about, and then she'd see someone she recognised and do this awkward shuffle with them. And she'd break off on her own again. You see, Aaron, the sales manager, he pointed her out to us and said he wanted to show her his moves. Sure enough, he got her another drink and danced with her pretty much the rest of the night. Well, apart from encouraging the rest of us up to do the shuffle as well. All right, love. You might be wondering why none of us tried to get her home or anything, but the thing is, we booked out the whole hotel. Aaron was a respected manager. He had a good reputation with the company, you see. He was even talking about becoming director. He did, in fact, about 6 months later. Anyway, towards the final songs, she was getting tired and he offered to escort her to her room, you see. He spent the later part of the evening looking after her. Never made a move on her whilst they were dancing. Even got her some water, so she'd agreed. We'd watched him go up with her. And some of the other lads cheered and gave him a covert thumbs up. A few minutes later, one of the sales guys gets a text message telling us to come up with a room number. We get up off their chairs and I'm dragged up as well. And we all make our way up to the room on the message. The door's ajar. And we go in. But it's not his room. It's hers. She was just lying there, and I noticed at the time she was wearing these. I remember Aaron saying, "Merry Christmas, lads," and clapping one of the other lads on the shoulder. She wasn't unconscious, but she wasn't with it either. She was just lying there, just murmuring and sleepy, I guess. I probably don't need to describe what happened next. I do remember that although the others were excited and cheering and all that, I was trying to resist and trying to talk them out of it, but it means nothing because they talked me into it. We left afterwards. Went back to our room. We didn't talk about it at breakfast. Never really discussed it afterwards. Unsurprisingly, she didn't come back to work after. It never really came up again. I left myself about 3 months later. At the time I found myself another opportunity, but the guilt of it was a factor. It's horrible, but I completely forgot about it until I saw the contents of that box. We ruined her life, I know we did, and if I was still alive I'd want to make amends, but I can't, I'm sorry.
Fucking hell, Danny.
I know, I've never done anything like it since. I know when you all met me, I was all full of bravado, but like I said, it's all an effort. There's no changing or excuse for what we did. I guess this is me. It really has been great meeting you all. I'm just sorry that I've not lived to be the man that I should have been.
I didn't massively like the guy, but I didn't think he'd be capable of that.
Me neither. You alright, Sam?
Yeah. Just taking everything in. Everyone's stories. I mean, we're in this really weird situation, but we weren't before, and
They're your dad's, Sammy. Do you remember, Joe, when I said earlier that my ex-husband, well, treated women like shit?
I don't think I was listening. Sorry.
Well, he did. He was okay with Sammy, but he snapped at her a lot. Didn't really have much time to play with her. Didn't really see her as his responsibility. Oh, she tried her best with him, didn't you, love? But he'd tell her to go away and play. He wasn't really bothered. But it was obvious to me he wanted a son.
You tell me you did, Mum. I always thought that was why I was called Sam.
Yeah, it was. It was his choice. You were going to be Sam if you were a boy, too. See, she's not Samantha. It's not short for Samantha. It's just Sam. I think that's why I always call you Sammy when it's just the two of us, love. Makes you, I suppose, feminises you a bit for me.
Oh, that makes sense.
We stick together, don't we, love? I mean, we've had to, really. I mean, well, when I met Gary, it was all right. He was charming, funny. And then we got married and he started to mope. And then everything was my fault. So if he'd had a bad day at work, it was because I'd made his breakfast wrong in the morning, or I'd made the house untidy for him to come back to. If he was watching football, which he did a lot, didn't he? And his team conceded, well, he'd shout at me. Then he'd apologise and say he just got wound up and it wouldn't happen again. And for a while it would be all right. And then off we go again. I was either mollycoddling Sammy or not doing enough to keep her out of his hair so he could get on with whatever his latest interest was. Oh, and that changed a lot because he wasn't really talented at anything. He'd start to try to learn an instrument or paint or even whittle. And then he'd stop and say I made him stupid.
That must have been really difficult for you.
It was, I guess, but I had Sammy. If he upset me, we could, go out and do something together. Do you have family, Joe? I realise with all that's been going on, we haven't really asked about you.
Yeah. My parents are still together, although they travel around and work a lot. I've got a sister, older. She's just had a kid.
Nice. Do you get on with that?
Mostly. I mean, we fall out sometimes, but what family doesn't, right?
True, I suppose. What do your parents do?
They have their own business. They work as consultants, helping businesses become successful. We've always been well off, don't struggle for food or anything that you hear about. I'm just normal, really.
No, you're not normal. You tried to save my Sammy and that's not normal. That's a hero.
Thanks.
No. Thank you. I just wish you two had survived. I didn't want this for you, Sammy. Not after your dad. You're so good.
I loved our days of trips.
So did I. So did I. As you might imagine, Joe, Gary didn't stop just with the words, no. Firstly, he'd just come up and shout in my face instead of from across the room. Then he'd grab my arm and squeeze hard until it hurt. Then he hit me. Suppose he was just seeing what he could get away with. I wish to fucking God I'd fought back before it got to where it did. Or just taken my Sammy away. I didn't have the guts. We did go out as a family very often. So one evening when he said we were going out for a pizza, we were excited, weren't we, love? We even got dressed up. You know what, it was good at first. It felt like a family. He was asking Sam about school, actually showing an interest. I'd seen some friends that afternoon and he'd met them when they'd come round before. So he was joking about them. Oh, Mabel's dyed her hair blue now, she's got divorced, I see. About halfway through our pizza, and there's this family and they're sat just behind us and the kids are mucking around, you know, like kids do, up and down off their seats, making a noise. Parents weren't really doing much about it and I could see Gary getting more and more irate. And then he starts to talk loudly. He says, I just wish I could have a meal with my family in peace for fucking once. Oh, I says, please Gary, leave it. And the guy behind us, well, he's apologising. He's saying sorry, but Gary doesn't leave it, no. Please, Gary, calm down. But no, he's having a rant. The poor guy is having a right go at him, and he's trying to round up his kids and apologise, and Gary is not letting it go. So, in the end, I call over the waiter, get the bill, pay up, and we'll see him at home, take a Sammy and go.
Did something happen between him and the guy?
I don't think so, Joe. He came home 15, 20 minutes later, and he was livid. You could hear him in the kitchen. He's stomping around and he's slamming doors. Well, I go in to try and calm him down. And he goes for me. Says, I've shown him up. I've embarrassed him. Like I was the one that had a go at some random guy in a pizza restaurant. And God help me, I told him so. So he hits me. He hits me again. He shoves me and he punches me in the face. And I'm begging him to stop. I'm saying, Sally's in the next room, please. She'll hear us. But no, he's not letting it go. So I yell, Sammy, go upstairs. Get out of the way. And then he punches me really hard. He nearly knocks me out and I'm draped over the washing machine. And I can hear him. He's at the bottom of the stairs and he's shouting, Sammy, come down here. I want a word with you. Well, I couldn't let him hurt us, Sam. I couldn't let him hurt my Sammy, Joe. And there's a frying pan on the hob there, and I picked it up, and I took it, and I smashed it over his fucking head! And he goes down like a sack of shit! Because that is what he was.
Was he dead?
No. Sam came down and saw what he'd done to me, saw him on the floor, called the services. Ambulance and police came. Well, they took statements. They could see it was self-defence, so they didn't press charges. It was a pretty heavy-duty frying pan, and I put him in a coma for a bit. It gave me a chance to contact a women's abuse charity, and they helped us get a restraining order on him. We haven't seen him since.
You fought back in the end.
Yeah, I guess I did. You know, you're lucky to have a family that's close, but I feel even luckier that we got that bastard out of our lives. It must be almost our stop, Sammy love. Get your things.
Mum?
Come on now. It shouldn't be long.
Mum, there's something I've got to tell you.
What is it?
There was this new girl at school, Rosie. She was fat, weird. I mean, her hair was greasy and she was spotty. No one liked her. She put her hand up in class too, answer the teacher's questions. Some other girls would laugh at her and call her names, but I tried to be friendly to her. Let her join group projects and stuff. One of the girls told me she had a crush on George. I mean, you know I've liked George since we were in primary school, so I messaged her, just telling her to stay away from him. Thought I'd make her life miserable if she didn't. We got a screwdriver from DT and took the lock off the bathroom door and kicked it down and filmed her trying to cover herself up on Snapchat. I put bubble gum in her hair and she had that one little lip chopped off. It was so clogged up. I don't know why. I was so jealous. But she was such an easy victim.
Sammy, how could you do that? After your father?
I know, Mum. I couldn't tell you. I knew how you'd feel about it. It doesn't matter. The head found out after the bubble gum thing and told me he was going to suspend me unless I apologised and tried to make friends. So I told him I would, but I was so angry. So I messaged her and told her that if she ever grasped me up again, then I'd tell the whole school that she's a fat whore who slept with a football team. She tried to commit suicide. So I messaged her and I told her to just do it and do us all a favour. Her parents transferred her out in the end. She didn't do it, I promise.
Are you sorry for what you did? It It seems that's important here.
I think I just wanted to do everything I could to keep her away from George. I mean, George and I will talk about getting married. I have pictures in my room of our wedding. I don't think he ever liked her. He wouldn't, but to answer your question, yeah. I guess I'm sorry. Mom, look at me. Speak to me, please. You can't leave me on the train by myself. Not after everything that happened with Dad. Mum!
Please, Stan. Joe, whatever you've done, whatever's in your box, you are a good person. Do you know, your family will know that. They'll be mourning you right now, hidden in their hearts. And thank you again for what you did for my